What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios for what I'm hoping is one of the final weeks of building Cato Neimoidia in LEGO. I can't believe I'm saying that. I felt like just a couple months ago, I thought I was never going to be finished with the mock. And then I just had that huge swell of progress and motivation, and now here we are on the cusp of being done. This week I have a few key things I want to focus on. The first and main thing being the cloud work, getting more of it down, figuring out how many more parts I'm going to need, and then getting those ordered and on their way. I also want to finish up the city. I have yet to even start on putting the wrap around the outside of the city that's basically going to cover up the plates and the bricks and make it so, the city looks like it has some kind of wall or protection around the sides of it. I'm also going to be putting together those Neimoidian warriors I showed you guys to see, how those Ki-Adi-Mundi torsos and legs work with the helmets and heads that I got. All that being said, it's an action-packed week. If you're excited for more Cato Neimoidia goodness, don't forget to execute Order 66 on that like button. And while you're down there, if you haven't already, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on the finale of this giant mock. All that being said, it's time to dive in. All right. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm kicking off what could be the final week of building Cato Neimoidia in LEGO. And I've got some things to show you guys, some stuff that I was working on in between this week, this update, and the last update. So I did get the rest of the plants in right here. You can see both these medians are completely done. Let me know what you think of the placement of the plants. There's just something about them that kind of bothers me. I'm not sure what it is, but I might just have to get used to it and look at them more and kind of adjust them a little bit. For the most part, I'm pretty happy with how they look, but there's just something a little strange. I don't know, that could just be me. Let me know down below in the comments if you agree or what you think about that. I did also get some more studs down, but I'm not even going to bother showing you that. It doesn't matter, they just all need to be down, and you guys already all know that. So what I want to show you next is actually going to be minifigure related. I was able to put together the rest of my Neimoidian warriors. So these are the ones using the Ki-Adi-Mundi torso, and you can see they turned out pretty cool. I like the way the torso blends and the arm blends with the face, the helmet, and the gun. I gave them a black helmet and black hands. So they are slightly different from the actual Neimoidian warrior. You can see this guy's all dark brown with the green hands and the brown helmet. This is just what the store had, the black helmets, and I figured it would be kind of cool. I figured, as long as they look the same, it wouldn't matter if they're different. I'm probably just going to use these guys as some kind of commander or leader, whereas these guys with the black helmets are just regular grunts because I have more of the black helmet guys than the brown ones. But all in all, you can see if you step back and look at them next to each other, they don't look that different. So I feel like they give off the similar aesthetic and vibe, which was what I was hoping for. I have a total of 6 of this style of Neimoidian warrior, which means I am all done with my Neimoidian guards. I have as many as I need. I've got all the rocket droids I need. You can see there's a bunch back there. I've got all the super battle droids and regular battle droids. So as of right now, my separatist army is complete and ready to be set up. Moving on to the Republic side of things, I got some more minifigures decaled. I decaled 3 Wolfpack Troopers and 2 plain white grunts. Fortunately, one of the Wolfpack Trooper torsos got a little messed up, so it's actually drying right now, and I'm going to reseal it after this. But these other guys turned out really good. Really happy with how they look. I'd like to make some more of these once the mock is done, just to have more Wolfpack Troopers in my collection. I feel like it's a pretty cheap way to get what is usually a pretty expensive minifigure. And then here are the plain white grunts. They turned out pretty good. I love decaling these guys. They're so easy to decal, and they turn out good, and it's such a cheaper alternative to, paying the $30 to get just one of these guys, to get just one of the official LEGO version of these guys. I think that should be all of the clone troopers I'll be decaling for the mock. We'll see once I start setting up minifigures if I feel like I need more, or if there's a number that I want to hit. I might decal some more of the plain white grunts and maybe one more 442nd trooper. I do have one more heavy decal. My only hesitation to doing it is this helmet. You can see it's got a lot going on there, and I'm a little bit worried about messing that up. But if I have to, I will give it a try. Moving back to the city, there's a couple of things I want to show you guys. So on the edge of the city on each side, I stuck these giant golden blades with flags underneath. These have no practical purpose. I just thought it would look cool and just add some elegance and some more design to the city. You can see when you step back and look at it from a distance, it actually looks pretty cool with the little golden blades on either side. And it helped me use up some more of my pearl gold parts. And then in the city, I actually added some of these pearl gold trash cans just to add a little bit of life and a little bit of detail to the city. Obviously, they don't open, you can't put anything in them, but it gives us the same shape of a trash can and helps populate the city and just gives you more detail to look at. I do have another one down over here by the statue. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you is this bar that's running across the city. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been wondering, and some of you have even asked if I'm going to leave this section exposed or if I'm going to try covering it up. It is actually going to be covered up. If you look on the actual city of Cato Neimoidia, running the entire length of it, there's this strip or skirt that has this triangular pattern of alternating dark and light blue gray triangles, and so I'm actually going to be building something like that and connecting it to these gold bars. That's probably what I'm going to be doing next. Might jump into a time lapse or something of me putting those together. All that being said, that's everything I have to update with you guys with. I don't have too much left to do. Really, it's just the cloud work, finishing up those bands, and then like populating the city and getting it ready for the mock, and then putting down the minifigures and ships. So it's finally time to get started on that wrap that's going to go around the outside of the city. You guys have seen what the actual thing looks like, and now I'm going to show you how I'm going to accomplish that look in Lego. So I've got a bunch of these 2x3 wedge plates in dark bluish gray and light bluish gray. I'm basically going to be creating a pattern of alternating light gray and dark gray triangles. I'm going to be building them in lengths of 16 and then connecting them all together and then sticking them to the city. I've actually gone through quite a few designs for this. It was actually going to be much bigger in the beginning, but I realized, because I was going to make the triangles 6 studs tall instead of just 3 studs tall, but I realized this would have made some massive triangles, and it would have made the wrap super tall, which I think would have started to block the city a little bit and just would have looked kind of weird. I think this height should be perfect, but I won't know for sure until I get these finished and then connected to the mock. All right, I have something very cool to show you guys. So I got the front part of the city wrap on finally. Check that out. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I really like that pattern look. Just the alternating triangles look really cool. And I think it really completes the city. You know, it makes it seem a little bit thicker than it actually is. Hides those ugly blue and tan plates in the middle. Just really completes the whole city. And I'm pretty happy with how all these fit together as well. These are actually individual 2x16 plates with the wedge plates on them. You guys saw me putting them together of how those came together. Basically just a bunch of 16x16, 2x16 plates that I lined up and then placed the wedge plates on them. I had to do it in a way that the patterns would match up, so that's why I was lining them up repeatedly, just making sure, you know, I was continuing that pattern. And even though they're not connected, that once I put them all together, you know, it would look like one long continuous line. Unfortunately, I ran out of light bluish gray wedge plates, but I do have a bunch more coming, as well as some 2x16 plates. So once I get those in, I'll be able to build this side. I'm actually going to be doing something a little bit different on this side. If you guys remember, I had the longer pearl gold rods that I was running that were basically the length of one of these 16x16 plates. And I realized there were some problems with those. I'll jump back over to the other side in a second and show you what the problems were. But anyways, I'm trying out some much smaller rods that I think will do the job better. And while I'm back here, I'll show you guys this little plateau. So I have it mostly finished off. I have these little battery packs kind of piled up over here, and these are what they use to power the anti-aircraft cannon. So obviously, you know, they don't have like a giant cord running from the city or over to here, and so it's powered that way. I've got some smaller batteries over there to power the remote missile launcher. Then we have some different missiles over here if you want to switch something out for a different kind of armament, and then some crates over here. I did make a pretty big change with the cannon. You can see I added a windshield to it. The windshield is super tall still. I might try experimenting with lowering it down, but I do like the look of having a windshield. I just feel like it completes the build and just gives that gunner a little bit more protection. I especially like these angled windshields because they're not just flat. You can see they kind of angle back. So when it folds up, it kind of gives the Gunner a little bit of protection over his head as well. And then I just added this little piece on here to lengthen that to give him a little bit of a roof. Pretty happy with how it looks, but I will try and lowering that windshield down, see if I can get it to look better. So what I was talking about earlier with these rods is you can see these are at an angle. They're not completely flat. They're not completely in line. They kind of angle back this way. And it's kind of hard to explain, but you can see in there, this clip right here, which holds this bottom piece on, is actually being forced this way because of that rod. Because of this rod right here. So it's pushing this entire plate out this direction, which means, you know, this direction is being pushed in that way. So where some of these meet, they're not completely flush because of that. I did swap out some of these. That's why, like this one and that one, that's why these two are fitting together better, but I still need to pull out that one and swap out these longer rods for the shorter ones. That way the clip won't be pushing on the rods and pushing these panels one direction or the other. Unfortunately, that'll wrap up this week of building Cato Neimoidia. I know you guys are probably used to a little bit more progress and longer updates, but I'm just out of all the parts I need. I have 2,000 more transclear cylinders coming. I've got those wedge plates coming. I've got stuff to build that vulture droid. So I still do have, a decent amount of stuff to put together, which means I should have a lot of stuff for a good update next week. But unfortunately, I won't be done by the end of February. I'm not too put out by that just because, it's because I'm waiting on parts. And there isn't much I can do about that. Sometimes if you need more parts, you got to wait until you get more parts. So hopefully next week will be the final week. I still do have a decent amount to do, like I was saying, so it should be a pretty action-packed episode. All that being said, it's time to hit the outro. Well, another week down. I didn't get the mock finished, but honestly, I'm happy. Just because I feel like it'll give me another week to really prepare and add as many details to this mock as possible. Sometimes at the end of a mock, I especially have a little bit of a tendency to kind of rush just to get it finished, just because you've been working on it for so long. You want to see the finished product, and sometimes I just want to be done working on a project. But I think this extra week will give me time to really relax, focus, and make sure that I'm putting my best effort into putting those finishing touches into the mock, because that's really, where a lot of because those little final details are what make a huge difference with your finished product. Which means next week should be pretty interesting, because I've got all kinds of cool things planned that I want to do, and I'll now have a week to kind of sit down and just show you guys what I'm going to be doing, probably do some cool time lapses and stuff like that. All that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to let me know what you thought about this update down below in the comments, and I will catch you guys all next time, but until then, happy building.